at my desk right now and I just wanted to take a minute and do a little pattern or project forecasting with you guys. I thought I'd just chat a bit about an upcoming project that I'm going to be casting on soon. And I thought the vlog would be a really good place to do that. And so as you may know, if you watch the Wool Needles Hands Knitting podcast, and you can definitely check out the most recent episode of the podcast, I'm going to pop a link, it'll pop up in the top of your screen. That would take you to the Wool Needles Hands Knitting podcast. This is just a vlog series that I host. The podcast is the formal podcast show setup. So you can learn a little bit more about the knit along that we have going on over there right now. It's a year-long knit along called the Wool Needles Hands Year of Hats Cal 2018. The hashtag is WNH Year of Hats Cal, K-A-L 2018. We're in March right now and currently everybody is working on knitting hats for babies. And coming up in April, it is lace hat knitting time. So I'm really excited about April because I love knitting lace hats. I love wearing lace hats. And pardon the noise you might be hearing. My husband and Angus are doing something, I don't even know. But they're having a great time. But anyway, it's lace knitting coming up in April. So I found my pattern and I found my yarn and I just wanted to share that with you guys here as kind of like a project forecast part of the vlog. So the yarn that I have chosen is actually, part of it is Fiber for the People yarn. It is a Lucky Strike colorway. This is the clay colorway. I love it so much. It's on my Twisty Singles Luxe base. It's a 70% superwash merino, 30% silk. Really beautiful yarn and a really beautiful colorway here. So I'm really excited about this. So I've chosen this to be the yarn that I use for my project. And I'm thinking that I want to pair it with what I have left over of this really fine lace weight mohair kind of. It's a mohair mix. It's not 100% mohair, and I'm not exactly sure the complete fiber content of this just because I don't have the label anymore. And it's been in my stash for a while. So I'm thinking that I might put them together. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but that's kind of where I'm going right now. I think I might swatch with these two together and see what I like. But I'm definitely thinking I might knit with these two together. But that's what I'm thinking. Putting these two guys together, perhaps I thought would look really pretty for a nice lace hat. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think. I'm really loving the colors together here. I actually used this previously in a lightweight hat that I knit. Gosh, I want to say that I knit it in September. I'll put a picture up so you can see it. I kind of combined it with, I combined the other main yarn, which was a gray yarn, with this. So I just have this left over, but I really think that they would look pretty together in a really nice lace hat. So that's the yarn I'm planning on working with. And even if I decide not to do the mohair yarn with this, I think this will look really lovely just in a lace hat all by itself because the yarn is so beautiful, the colorway is so beautiful. So that's the yarn I'm thinking about doing. Now, the pattern, I did find my pattern. I went on Ravelry and I just typed in lacy, or no, I typed in lace hats. I narrowed it down to knitting and then I narrowed it down to fingering weight yarn. You can actually crochet these hats if you want. Crochet is definitely not off limits by any means. I just wanted to knit this hat since I'm not a veteran crocheter. So that was kind of how I did my search. And if you go to the Wool Needles Hands Ravelry page and you go to the chatter thread for April, I did link the search that that you could use to find some really cute lacy hat patterns. So that's kind of what I did, and I found this pattern by Irina Anikeeva called the Squash Blossom. That's the name of the hat right there. It's called the Squash Blossom Lace Hat. This is the hat here. I really love the gentle slouch of this hat. It's not too slouchy. I tend to think that when I'm knitting, especially because this yarn is already going to have a pretty great drape because of the quantity of silk that's in here, or the percentage of silk that's in here, I don't want something that's too overly slouchy. But I do like the hats like this to have a little bit of a slouch to give it a little bit more of a shape. Another thing I really liked about this, and I'm going to try and do this without showing too much of the pattern because it is a pay-for pattern, and I could just, you know what, I could just input these pictures, but I love the gathered kind of the gathered crown of this hat. I really love a nice gathered crown, and you can see here that it has a really nice gather to it in the way that you decrease. And so I really like that. I love the gentle slouch. I love that gathered crown. The lace pattern itself is really beautiful. It's kind of, it's not like a typical, I don't know, I guess like I usually gravitate towards the leafy lace patterns, and this is not like that. It definitely has a kind of plant-like design to it, but it's really, really pretty. So it's called the Squash Blossom Lace Hat by Irina Anikeeva. It is a pay-for pattern on Ravelry. It's just really beautiful. So I think that is what I'm going to be doing for, actually I know that is what I'm going to be doing for April with this yarn. For the April portion of the Wool Needles Hands Year of Hats Knit Along for 2018. So I'm super excited about that. I will be taking a picture of these things and putting it onto the chatter thread on Ravelry. Definitely, if you're going to participate in the knit along, you don't have to participate for every month. It is a whole year of hat knitting, but maybe you want to just participate in a few months that interest you the most. That's totally fine. Just head over to the Ravelry group and get involved over there. You can check out what's going on in the, you can check out the previous chatter threads if you want. You could even see what's going on right now for March. It's a lot of fun. You get lots of really great inspiration looking at the works in progress and the finished objects over there. But definitely check it out. This is like, I'm super, super excited about this month because I did a spring hat knit along last spring, and it was a lace hat knit along, and it was so much fun watching all of the different hats that came off the needles and the works in progress. It was just so cool. Lace hats are so interesting. They're all unique. It's like, even if you knit the same pattern as somebody else, everybody knits it a little bit differently with different yarn. It just makes it really a lot of fun and pretty to work. So that is my plan for April for the Wool Needles Hands Year of Hats Knit Along 2018, and I just wanted to share it with you here. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are planning on doing. You can do it down in the comments below. You can even head over to Ravelry and get started on that chatter thread, but have fun picking out your yarn and finding your pattern. I know I did, so I'm super excited to get started. All right, guys, so that's all I wanted to do in this little segment of the vlog. I actually have to go outside right now in the dye studio. I'm gonna dye up some Lucky Strikes. I have some Lucky Strike dye stock left over from my previous dyeing session from my previous shop update, and I save it until I'm ready to use it to dye up some Lucky Strikes, and today's that day. I've been kind of inching around the dye studio. I'm trying not to do a really heavy amount of dyeing or anything like that, just because the lifting is pretty strenuous, and I am getting really close, so I'm trying to take it easy, but I have such an itch to get out there and dye some yarn. And so I'm thinking that what I'm going to do is use up that Lucky Strike dye stock that I have, because I want to get it used, and do a little pop-up shop update with some Lucky Strike colorways. So that might be coming down the pipe, so you can check for that. But why don't you come with me, actually? You can come and have some dye session time with me out there in the dyeing studio for just a few minutes. It's not going to be a very long process. I'm just going to dye a few skeins, maybe do some more tomorrow, but the weather right now outside is it's not stormy. It looks more stormy than it is. It's actually a really beautiful temperature, but it's kind of breezy. So after I get done doing the Lucky Strikes, we're actually going to take a walk to the market, which is just right down the road from us, get some stuff for dinner tonight. So I gotta get some dyeing done so that we can get out and go for a walk. I'm trying to walk, I'm on my feet typically anyway, but the doctor told me to just, go for walks to kind of keep things moving along. So that's what we're gonna do later. But right now, I'm gonna go dye some Lucky Strikes, so come with me. So right now I have my Lucky Strike dye pot stock in the pots right now. But sometimes I like to kind of develop the Lucky Strike a little bit further, add a little bit of like, add a little bit of variety to the colors. So maybe I'll add a little bit of a different color to it, just to have fun with the colors, see which colors play really well together. So sometimes I manipulate the Lucky Strikes to look a certain way. A lot of times I don't, but sometimes I do. But what's really great about Lucky Strike is at the end of Lucky Strike dyeing, there is no dye left over. Everything is fully exhausted, and that's great. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I have this like mauvey color going on in the pots that you can see here. And I want to see what happens if I add a little bit of a yellowish, golden yellow to this. See what kind of fun we can have with that. So I'm actually gonna just take 2 of these pots and add a little bit of this golden yellow and see what we get. Are you gardening? Oh, I think I just felt a raindrop, bud. Sometimes during dyeing yarn, I have downtime, which is perfect for knitting out here. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm working on these really awesome Hole in the Gang kind of magic socks that I just got, and they're super addicting. And I just started them last night, and I'm already over halfway done, and they're the best. So here's what they look like. Love them. And I'll put my heel right here. I'll talk more about these on the podcast, so you'll hear more about that this weekend.